Hello everyone, let's talk about some thumb position here, especially what to do when you are first starting it. Some things to keep in mind. And if you see me looking over here at the screen, it's because I'm looking at my thumb to make sure. Oh, I did that again. I think I did that last time I was live with you guys. I accidentally, because I was... I always go check to make sure that the link is there, that it's there on the channel, and then I accidentally leave it open. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we are. Thumb position. Okay, and actually, because I'm looking over here at the screen, this is the first thing that I would say to you when it comes to thumb position, is that you need to practice in front of a mirror, right? You need to be able to see your thumb and see what it's doing, because this is the big mistake that everybody makes, especially if you're starting out with thumb position for the first time, is that I see a lot of this, or trying to get too square, and you see how my shoulder is just a complete wreck now. All right, I have to be really comfortable playing up in the positions. All right, and this all comes back to, what is our posture here, basic posture here with the cello, and are we sitting at the cello correctly? But this arm has to come around the cello. I can't be doing one of these, okay? I can't have this horrible bent wrist, okay? I don't want to do this, all right? Notice that my hand is coming into the instrument. I have this nice angle, all right? My shoulder is relaxed. I'm not doing this up like this, all right? I'm coming up on the instrument so that this can be square. Mine's pretty square here, yeah. Whoops, killing the bow. Let's not do that. All of this is coming in at an angle. If I try to be really super square, and I know sometimes people talk about being in thumb position and being like, oh, you have to square up to the cello. That's not actually what happens, yeah? If you notice, my third finger is pretty straight, okay? And then as I go down, these fingers are more curved as I get back to the thumb, yeah? And I'm pretty comfortable going back and forth. Okay, so I can't do one of these, although there is a school of thought that says, you kind of leap up with these fingers here. Yes, don't kill the bow, thank you. I know. Nice bow. You would think I would, after 35 years, I would be better at that, but oh well. It's the way it is, okay? All right, so I don't want one of these. I don't want one of these. Happy medium. And this is one of those times, when thinking about coming into the fingerboard and what my hand is going to look like. Everybody's a little different. If you look at your hand, this is all part of genetics, and everybody's built a little differently. Some people have more even finger lengths. Some people have, very pronounced differences in their fingers. And it's all a little different, and it's all going to maybe look a little differently as your hand comes into the fingerboard like this. One thing you can do, just getting up in position before we get to the actual thumb, is you can grab the inside of the string, and I've talked about this on the channel before, and actually run all your fingers up to the top, okay, keeping your hand in, and then all the way back, and just grab the string here, all right, so that you can feel what it's like to actually be in good position up there, okay. Then add the thumb. All right, let me take my fourth finger off there, okay. Just grabbing the string, and notice my hand is kind of angled back, all right. I'm not trying to square up completely as I go up there. Now, where exactly is my thumb on the string? Let me see if I can kind of angle my cello up here. There's a little place, there's a little divot there in your thumb where it's like, I'm not quite on the side of my thumb. It's right where say the end of my fingernail is. Okay, I should make a video with a close-up of that. But that's as far over as I go. And notice also, maybe I can kind of zoom in here. How do I do that? I do know how to do that. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm going to do it here. Watch this. Maybe. Can I? Look at that. Okay. Notice here that my thumb is not touching the next string over. It almost is. It's pretty close, but I'm not over here touching the G, right? Same as if I was just on the A, all right? I don't want to be so far over. So I'm just over far enough so that I have that nice spot there in my thumb to press the string down without actually touching the next string over. That's really important. Bring this back to normal here. Okay. That I be on the string correctly here. All right. And maybe even do one of these. You know, I've built up the calluses here over quite a few years, and so, you know, rubbing my thumb back and forth, it's like no problem, right? And actually, I think a lot of people start thumb position as far as like what to play by just playing our Suzuki tunes. Oh, this is a great question here. I love questions. Thank you for asking a question. Says, for me, I get a lot of squeaks up there and don't know why. Is there a reason for it? There's two things that you can do for that. Okay. One is, and then here's another comment. It says, could be how much pressure you put in. Yes. Okay, so two things. So when we're first learning to play down here, right, we pluck, all right, because the pizzicato is very unforgiving, okay? So one thing you could do is you could pluck up here. You could do pizzicato just as a test to let you know if you're actually getting the string down enough, all right? So that's one thing. If I don't, well, that's a harmonic. Hold on. See, I'm getting kind of a thud. If I don't get the string down all the way. Now you hear that note because that's a harmonic. See, I don't have to press the string down all the way for a harmonic. But for the others. All right, so that could be so that's the left hand part, okay? That could be why it's squeaking. So I would pizzicato, okay, up there. That's the first thing. But remember, and let me do my cello this way here, that as my left hand gets higher this way, right, the rules about bowing lanes change, right? So the rule is the higher I go on the fingerboard this way, the more I have to push the bow toward the bridge. Yes, again, I'm looking at my mirror. This is why practicing in front of a mirror is so important. So, for example, say I'm playing my French folk song here. I'm learning thumb position. I'm playing French folk song up here. Even if I was playing piano or pianissimo, I would never be over the fingerboard this high up. Because the likelihood, well, it didn't squeak. Too bad that. But it's not a great sound. When I'm this high on the fingerboard, or say I'm way up here, see how close I'm getting to the bridge? All right, cut off here. It's as low as my camera will go, sorry. All right, but I would never be this close to my hands, right? I gotta get the bow down. Whatever that I'm playing up there. I hope that answers your question. So I would pluck it first, okay? Make sure the left hand's doing what it's supposed to. And then I would see maybe where I'm getting with my contact point, all right? So yeah, it is like, you know, like Vix, 9X said, it is about the pressure. It could be the pressure here, okay? Or it could be how much, you know, the bow is making the string ring, okay? But that's a great question. Yeah, that does happen. So use a mirror, right? That's kind of the short of it, is use a mirror, make sure that this looks comfortable, and so many problems get solved if you just use a mirror and use a reflection. Because you'll see, all right, if you're, you know, comfortable here, if this hand looks comfortable, immediately when you look in the mirror, all right, and just like down here, when I'm in position, when I'm up here, I should be able to reach all of these notes without a lot of maneuvering around, right? Same principles apply. My hand position and my hand shape has to help my intonation. And if there's a lot of movement around here, a lot of twisting, oh man, it's going to be out of tune immediately, right? So I got to find this angle, okay, this approach of getting up here, all right, that is comfortable, that I can maintain with consistency. You know, and just start with your scales. All right, and that will help your thumb position also as well. All right, so mirror tunes that you know. All right, make sure it's comfortable. Make sure you do the pits. All right, make sure you watch your contact point. Short and sweet, I like to say. Okay, don't belabor. Any other questions? Anything else on your cello minds this evening? I'm working on, what am I working on here on the channel? Working on actually some beginner stuff, a big beginner video, and some other special things coming your way here for the channel, and some other resources, some new stuff that I've been working on, thinking about. What happened? Something happened to my live stream. Hello. What happened? That's strange. Something happened. Okay. All right. Something cut out. I'm not sure what happened there with the internet. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, all right. I don't know when it cut out. Something happened there with the internet. Weird. Okay. Are we back? I don't know where it cut out. I just got a message that said the stream cut out. Sorry about that. I have some new things coming here on the channel. I've been working on some new resources, lots of beginner stuff. Okay, and sorry it cut out. Sorry about that. And working on some new resources here for the channel. And some new things that I am very, very excited about. I hope everybody's been enjoying the home movie. More of those to come. I've only posted the one, actually, 15-year-old Clay at Florida State music camps. But more of those to come as well, including some old youth orchestra concerts that I found, and just some various things, because I love sharing that stuff with you guys. So I hope you guys are enjoying watching this. Oh, we got 6 people in the live stream now. Awesome. You guys got any questions? Anything on your cello minds that I can answer? Hopefully I can answer them. While you're thinking about that, you know, what do I have coming as far as beginner? A whole huge beginner cello lesson. More of the Suzuki book supplements, which I love posting. More of that to come. Hoping to do a whole bunch more for the book one, of course, starting with book one. I had a lot of beginners in the studio this summer, and so lots of beginner stuff on my mind to share with you. Warm-up routine. Yeah, I noticed this comes up in artificial harmonics. I will cover both of those. Love it. Warm-up routine. You know, I think the most important thing to warm up is our ears, okay? Something that did come up this week in lessons. Now, let me preface this with, I am not a medical physician, all right, or any kind of biologist, but it is one of my favorite hobbies to study and look up. And I've talked about this thing on another channel about moving towards sound, about musical listening. And what is that? Well, in your brain, okay, there's a part of your brain called and I'm getting to the warm-up question. This is all for the warm-up question, and why I think, you know, we think about warming up, and we think about warming up muscles, but, and yeah, that is important, obviously. We are using our muscles, but the most important thing you should warm up is your ear. And this is why I'm going to tell you, this is how I warm up. Sorry, so in your brain, get back to my point here, is a part called the thalamus, right? And the thalamus is a way station for the rest of the parts of your brain from your sensory input. Meaning that when you see something or hear something or feel something or whatever, use any of your senses, it first goes to your thalamus, and then your thalamus tells the rest of your brain what to do with it or what kind of sensory input it is. As a matter of fact, something new that I discovered when I was rereading this article this week is that for the different cortices in your brain, you know, the motor cortex, the visual cortex, the cerebral cortex, they actually don't talk to each other directly. They actually also go back through your thalamus just to communicate between them. And this is why I so fervently believe, and even more today than I did yesterday, that we move towards sound, okay? That your brain makes the distinction between, say, reaching for something on my desk here, or reaching for a button to push a button or push a key on the keyboard here at the computer, versus there is a sound and I have to get to a certain place on the instrument, and that certain place is associated with a sound, and your brain treats that differently, okay? So when we're talking about moving, okay, and we're talking about warming up, okay, we're not just talking about muscles, okay, we're talking about moving toward sound, okay? That is what we are moving toward. We are reaching for sound. It is so important that everybody understand that. It's going to be my life's mission now that everybody appreciate this idea. So, my favorite thing to do to warm up to begin with is, and there's two parts, is just play something I know and love really well. You know, I'm from the South, from what some people call the Bible Belt. So I grew up around a lot of hymns, a lot of church songs. Sometimes I'll just sit down and like, you know, what's one that I've played recently? I don't know, just whatever comes into my mind, just something that I know really well. Maybe if it's Christmas time, I'll play like Silent Night or something. Or one that I used to play a lot was, you know, Amazing Grace. Or whatever, you know, comes into my mind. That's what I'll warm up with, okay? And because it just gets my, you know, that sense of improv, that sense of playing by ear. I move different. And I love the way I move when I'm not having to look at notes and look at stuff on the page, because, you know, when I get to be the composer and the decider of what the sound is about to be, that really gets me engaged in the music. Okay. So that's always the first thing I do, is just, you know, and maybe sometimes part of that improv will be I'll play some double stops. It's always one of the first things I play. So maybe after I play a little melody of something I know, you often see me sit down and play some double stops, play some sixths and thirds. And I talk about this, there's actually a video on the channel about playing in sixths and thirds, because it gets your hand in position, okay? If I'm playing just a single note, well, I could, you know, I can go all over the place by accident. But if I'm having to play a third, then my hand really has to be in position, and has to be in a great position. And if I can combine those two ideas to improvise something and play some, you know, some nice sixths, you know, just really gets my ears and hands and everything moving great, okay? All right, so that's usually like the second thing I do if I'm warming up. All right, then of course the scales, but this is still in service of training my ear to be better. I've talked a little bit about this on the channel, but not nearly enough, and that is playing scales in groups, all right? Everyone should be doing this. And I actually took a survey in class, it was like either in class or in my honors orchestra, and I asked everyone if they were playing scales in groups, and most of them actually were. You know, no surprise, they're all such great players. And what do I mean by that? So like I might sit down and go C major, straight into D major, C. Oh man, you do a few of these combos like this, and then you just, the cello just feels different. It sounds better. I feel so much more connected to what I'm doing if I practice scales in this way. Or say A minor, B minor. And then B. Makes you really think about the key signatures and the and the finger patterns, which is also kind of the point of doing it this way. Anyway, so, and then after the scales, all right, I would get to the piece. But those are like the three main things that I do. And maybe I don't always do all three of them, but and sometimes you just have to get straight into practicing. Back at Christmas time when, or over the holidays when I was playing a concert and it's just everything is so busy and everybody's all over the place, the warm-up is whatever the easiest thing in that piece that I need to be practicing a little bit anyway. That's the warm-up, and that's just the way it goes. So but if I have a chance to like really actually do a real warm-up, then it's those three things in about that order pretty much every time. There was another question. Oh yeah, warm-ups. Artificial harmonics, okay, or false harmonics. I think you have to practice them pretty much like you practice anything else. Again, going back to our ears, what do we hear? And we have to be able to hear whether or not it's correct or not. Okay, so, maybe a scale. Okay, so let's just pick a key. Let's go G major. Right? One thing you could do that just occurred to me, the hand spacing here, when you're doing a false harmonic, you're all on the same string, right? When you're on two strings, it's an octave fingering, right? It's the same distance, this perfect fourth. Well, it's a little different if I'm on two different strings, right? It's slightly different, okay? But one thing you could do to help prepare for the false harmonics, just for the shape, is to practice octaves, all right? And octaves, because octaves are really easy to hear. Ooh, you hear instantly when you're out of tune. Okay, all right, so now that my hand feels really good with this perfect fourth, let's switch to being on one string. Geez, sorry, I don't know what happened to the internet again. I don't know where it cut out. I don't know, that's twice now. I don't know why that's happening. Forgive me, sorry about that. Anyway, I was talking about the false harmonics. Use octaves, use octave scales, use that perfect fourth interval. And also, I was saying again about the contact point. We were talking about that earlier. If you're playing up high, you got to be down, toward the bridge. And actually, for false harmonics, you really got to be close enough to the bridge all the time. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with the internet. That's just weird. There were some storms that came through here earlier. Maybe there's something going on in the neighborhood. Okay, out in the city. Okay, it's not raining now, but it was raining earlier. But just to recap, because I don't know where it cut out. Sorry about that. Contact point is important. Okay, if I'm back here close to the fingerboard, the false harmonics have a hard time coming out. And I was saying practice using octaves. because then you're learning this relationship between the two fingers, right? That's it's one of the things where it gets really, really out of tune, okay, is that I'm not getting this perfect fourth consistently as I move around, right? Because this is the real trick of playing false harmonics, is that I have to play some kind of melody or I have to find that perfect fourth really, really fast, right? So if I practice octaves, yeah. Ooh, it's got to be dead on. Yeah, and of course, getting close to the bridge helps a ton, okay? All right, I think I'm going to go before the internet cuts out again. I'm so sorry. Jeez, I'm going to find out here from Charter. Yike, not doing well today. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for all the questions. Thanks for hanging in there, and I'm sorry about the internet. It's not my fault, but I am sorry that keeps happening. It happened twice now today. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me. All right, thanks for the questions. Always love the great questions. Love answering the questions. It gives us something to talk about. I am going to be doing live week again. We have strings camp next week. I am teaching at our strings camp. But then the week after that, I'll be posting and scheduling those soon. All right, I'll be posting and scheduling them next week. Just gearing up for fall, whatever you're gearing up for, whether you're a student or an adult learner or whatever. Yeah, make sure you make it back here for live week for lots and lots of discussions to, get your cello battle station ready. And for whatever else you need, lots and lots of topics coming your way. I loved doing live week last year, and so looking forward to doing it again this year. Super excited about it, to hang out with you guys some more. All right. Thanks so much. We appreciate you.